We are live, we are live. Good evening, guys. Greeting you in your time zone. Welcome, welcome. We are here today. Sound check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, you can go on. Go on.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So today, guys, welcome. Welcome. I'm so excited. It's a special day today. We are actually starting a new show, and the name of the show is called Leadership and Politics. So today is the premiere of the show, and I have our distinguished Dr. Lawrence Mwelwa, who will be a co-presenter, a co-host with me. So this is our first of many shows, and we have a democracy advocate with us, a senior youth, Mr. Fabian Mutale. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Pumulo.
Yes.
It's a pleasure being on this program, especially that it's a premiere.
Exactly, exactly. So you are welcome, guys. It's a premiere show. You are all welcome to participate on our shows, on our future shows. You can just inbox me, and we'll tell you what you need to do to be a panelist on this show. So to get started, we are blessed that Dr. Mwelwa is a musician. So as we wait and as we share in our groups, I'm just going to ask Dr. Mwelwa to share one of his songs.
As I am.
Buye, atmasela, buye, kambuye, 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 atmasela, buye, kambuye, 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 buye, atmasela. Well,
all right. Thank you. That's wonderful. Even though it's a bit, I think I should have played it here. Maybe it would have been better, but thank you so much. So we'll start with you, Doctor. We'll like a brief introduction so that our guests can get to know you.
My name's Lawrence Mwelwa. I come from the academia. My background is business. I was in academics for many years. I rose up to the position of Vice Chancellor. I'm a businessman, musician, politician, and a writer, and a very happy citizen of the Republic of Zambia. Basically, that is who Dr. Mwelwa is.
Thank you, thank you. Fabian, can you introduce yourself before we get started?
Whoa, a politician. I turned into democracy advocate. I was one of the founder members of the former ruling party, Patriotic Front, until the time we formed another political party called the NDC, National Democratic Congress, where I rose until the position of Deputy National Mobilization Chairperson. Prior to 2021 elections, we rejoined the PF. And after 2021 elections, when PF was kicked out of power, I continued with my politics and diverted a bit to start looking at politics in a broader perspective, and become a critique of both the opposition and the ruling party. So this is who I am now, a democracy advocate.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wow, very impressive, political history there. So guys, sorry, excuse my language. So gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is gonna be the first of many more to come. Today we are looking at debt restructuring, the impact of the debt restructuring. So we are looking at debt restructuring. Dr. Mwelwa, can you take over for a minute? I'll be back. Can you take over for a minute?
Okay. Debt restructuring is a topical issue. One of the issues that has hit headlines in the past few weeks. It came with a bang. I think that for a number of months, or maybe for the past 2 years now, the government of the Republic of Zambia has been working on this particular project. The PF government started borrowed to the point where by 2020, if I recall correctly, the country came to a point where we started defaulting on our repayments. And somehow we were privileged because of the fact that we had COVID. And so because of COVID, the country benefited from the COVID debt suspension relief of some kind. So the country has not been paying the debt during the COVID time. But then when we elected the new government, it became important for them to ensure that this debt is restructured. In other words, it must be made possible for the government to continue paying this debt and get to a point where the debt becomes sustainable. In other words, our debt as a nation had become unsustainable under the previous government. And so when the new government came in, they had to work to ensure that they restructure the debt and make it more sustainable. In other words, make it easier for us to be able to continue paying and keep our books in order. So basically, it is just a way of trying to reorganize, to restructure our debt, to make it more affordable for us to pay. For example, if I owe the bank 200,000, and then I get to a point where my income is not able to pay that 200,000, or the monthly installments that I'm supposed to pay of 10,000 or 20,000, I can go back to the bank and ask the bank to give me time or to extend the repayment period in order for the repayments to become easy and sustainable. So that is what we have been going through. And the government of the Republic, through the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, went to meet our creditors to negotiate so that we can be able to prolong the repayment time and also maybe to try and negotiate that the repayments are reduced. And at the end of these negotiations, they got to a point where our country signed a debt restructuring agreement. That is all I can say in introduction. I don't know what my colleague, Mr. Mutale, has to say.
Certainly, that is exactly what it is. But maybe for the ordinary Zambian or the grassroots, as it were, to understand it, is restructuring itself. What is it? It is basically to realign the mode of payment of a particular debt. My memory serves me right. Remember, there was prior to the change of government, there was an organization or a company called Lazard, which was being quoted to do the restructuring on behalf of the government of Zambia. And this restructuring, as I was trying to put it, is basically to go to your Shylock in the context of the Zambian setup. You go to your Shylock and say, well, I owe the 200, and you have told me that I'll be paying 50 kwacha per month. However, even the 50 kwacha itself at the moment I cannot afford. I want to be paying 25 kwacha, meaning that you are now extending the repayment period as well as re-agreeing how much you'll be paying per month. So basically, that is what it is in the simpler terms for an ordinary person to understand. Because if we talk about restructuring, we are saying the debt is still there. It has not been waived. It has not been written off. However, they have just extended the payment period and rearranged the payment terms. In this case, the amounts owing remain the same, but the amount to be paid annually remain changed and extended payment period.
Thank you, thank you. So now that we have a wholesome understanding of a debt restructuring, when this was signed, actually, from what I understand is like this, the agreement was just that the lenders agreed to sit down and actually restructure our debts. So from this news, we saw a lot of celebrations. And then, so my question is, why is it wise to start celebrating to extend your debts, you know, for the future, into the future for 20 years? So is it wise to these celebrations that we were seeing? And also, what is the impact of extending a debt 20 years to start paying it into the future, you know? So let us dissect, look into the details of this debt restructure. Because to me personally, I think I am saddened as a mother, or if a parent is planning to leave children in debt, I think that is an unfortunate situation, because every parent, we know we are going to die one day. And when we die that day, we want to leave our children an inheritance, a positive inheritance. So for me, the current trends of the past and ruling regimes in our country, they continue leaving a negative inheritance of our children and generations to come. So your comments, we'll start with Fabian.
Pumulo, you know, every coin has two sides. You're talking about celebrations. In what context did the people celebrate? You realize that prior to the agreements on debt restructuring, they could have been collateral pledged to say, if we default, these are the repercussions. So I'm using the word collateral to relate with the ordinary debts that we have at household level, because the debt that the nation owes affects households. So the celebrations, I think, arose because at that point, people realized to say the extended repayment period is not going to choke the economy. How was it not going to choke the economy? We had reached a stage where we had already defaulted, meaning that when you default, certainly there are penalties. So if those penalties were going to choke the government and we are allowed to go on a table to renegotiate, that is a plus. However, in achieving that, what benefit is it to the Zambian, the ordinary person? Because the government that we have works for the betterment of the ordinary citizen. How are we going to benefit as ordinary citizens from this debt restructuring? I think that is where the celebrations could have come from. Maybe I may not be privy to specific details, but people that could have celebrated were told the benefits, and some of which have also been told to some of us. For instance, the money that was supposed to be paid, for instance, is 100 kwacha per month. And then the Shylock says, okay, fine, you can be paying 25 kwacha. Meaning at that particular time, you're going to save 75,000 kwacha, 75 kwacha, which you can channel to other needy areas of the household. So that calls for celebrations in a household. Equally, it called for celebrations at national level because the monies that were supposed to be paid annually were reduced. The nitty-gritties of the debt restructuring, as we stand, have not been availed, the full extent of which everyone has been looking forward to. All the information we have is in abstract and we are speculating. All we know is that the debt has been extended for close to 20 years. And we don't know the other ingredients of the restructuring. And I think as we go forward, we are going to ask some of these questions to the people involved. It's unfortunate that we don't have certain information off the cuff. I hope Doctor has, especially on this one, the exact nitty-gritties of the debt restructuring, because all we know, all we celebrated for is that the period has been extended, and at the moment we are not going to be paying the amounts that were supposed to be paid, meaning that the money that is going to be saved, I'm using the word saved figuratively, is going to be channeled to need areas like putting medicines in the hospitals and other sectors. We look forward to that. Doc. Doc.
Yes, I concur with Mr. Mutale and his submissions. It is not something exciting, as Mulo said in the beginning. As parents, to actually leave what is our responsibility to future generations. Because if we are saying that 20 years from now, that's when we are going to start repaying this debt, we are simply transferring our responsibility to the children who are not even part of what is happening now. The other thing that I want to comment on is the secretiveness or confidentiality of these agreements. Why hasn't the government made the agreements public in order for all of us to see the content of these agreements? What is contained in these agreements? What have they agreed in these agreements? So that all of us are on the same page, because the UPND government or the current leadership, they are not going to stay in government forever. There will come a time when they are not going to be part of government. And so when that happens, who is going to take that responsibility to pay the debt that was incurred years behind? I am made to believe that
So I think our doctor's connection is failing. So I think, yeah, his connection is failing. So I just want to comment on what the doctor talked about, to say these memorandums, they are being signed secretly. You are back. Go ahead, doctor. I was just trying to pick up from where you left.
Yeah, so I was saying that these agreements are being signed secretly. We all know that some of these monies that we are now owing were spent on roads, on infrastructure, and so on. But I don't know whether we'll have anything to show for in terms of the roads, that 20 years when we are going to start paying the debt. And at that particular time, we will still have other developmental needs that will require funding. Where are we going to get the funds from to actually pay this debt? Then I'm also very concerned because we have secured this debt restructuring and pushed our debt forward. But if you look at the impact on the ground, which we'll discuss later on, it doesn't seem to show. Where is the money going? Because the debt restructuring, if I'm made to understand, we have not been paying since the time of COVID. We have not been repaying our debt. But things are hard. And we were told that once they restructure the debt, things are going to improve. We still are not able to see the fruits of that postponement of the debt. If the debt is postponed and then we are able to see other things being developed, other infrastructure coming on board, other roads being built, we'll probably be able to say, well, these roads will account for the time lost. But at the moment, we are not able to see anything that is being done. Yes, CDF is being preached.
Okay, so our doctor is in and out, bad signal, but I picked 2 points from what he has said. Good evening. I see a lot of people are joining. Just share in your groups, share on your pages, so a lot of people can watch this this program. We have our Dr. Mwelwa here, who will be a co-presenter on this show, will be coming live once a week. So, Doctor, the floor is yours. I'm just come to fill in when you drop. Your signal is really bad.
Yeah, so my argument is that yes, the debt has been restructured. What's the benefit to us? You know, we have postponed debt for our children, maybe our grandchildren, to be the ones to come and pay this debt. But what do we get from this deal now? Where are the resources being taken or channeled? Is it just the CDF? Or what else? Where else are we putting? Where else are we investing the savings that we are making from the debt restructuring?
That is a really good point, because PF, they were paying, they were servicing the debts. Minimum was at 150, fuel was at 17, like things were much lower. On top of that, PF government was servicing the debts. Now we have defaulted. We have not been servicing our debts since COVID. And then this current government has actually negotiated to postpone further to start paying. But in the midst of all this, the price of minimum has doubled. Inflation are the highest. Inflation rates are the highest in Zambia so far. So we as a people should question this. We need to hold our government accountable. These are checks and balances. So that's number one. Number one is you are not servicing the debt. So where is the money going? Because everything has doubled. What is money if it's not being used to help your people, to subsidize the cost of millennium, to buy medicines in hospitals? Where is this money? People are actually dying as we speak. That's number one. Number two is the secret MOU. Recently, we saw an entourage. They went to Israel and they signed a secret memorandum of understanding for non-disclosure on the agreements for our Zambian precious minerals. Non-disclosure. So my question here is, these secret deals the government is signing and also signing secretly. I see Queen Cobra watching. Good to see you, my daughter. We need you because when some of the points being discussed here, you can take them and to your platform. You are drawing a lot of people your age. And the 70% of the Zambian population is the youths. People like Queen Cobra, people like Tayali, they are drawing crowds. So some of these things we are discussing here, they are very important. And we need to ask the questions. Why are, for me, then the question that I'm asking now is, why are the PF members of parliament not questioning these secret non-disclosure MOUs being signed? Why is PF opposition in Imanda Hill, they are quiet? Why? Why are they allowing this new dawn to sign secret MOUs on our precious stones? A mine was opened, is it today, somewhere in a copper belt? And I am told that only one member, the minister, was the only person present at that or official opening of the mine. So these are my questions to say, why is PF mute? These are crimes. They are crimes against the Zambian people because we already made a mistake to privatize our mines in MMD. Now we are in a new era democracy. We continue to privatize these mines to private, international and local investors when our people are dying of hunger. Your take. For me, I really want to bring this PF to ask them why they are silent. Why are they not putting the New Dawn government to task? They just signed a secret non-disclosure for the mines between Israel and Zambia. Yeah? So why are they questioning all these things that the president is doing? Why is PF mute? And these are the people we want to bring back in government. We see people campaigning. I'm not going to mention names. People are campaigning to say ECL Agwererepo. So how can we bring back ECL knowing that PF members of parliament are not defending, they are not speaking for Zambia? These crimes are being committed against Zambians. But the PF, they are majority in parliament, they are mute. Why? The floor is yours, Fabian.
Pumulo, on the PF MPs not questioning or holding the UPND accountable, the answer is very simple. When you've got skeletons in your closet, you would as much as possible not allow anyone to have access to the closet. I think that's the quickest answer I can give to that. In all fairness, the purpose of MPs in parliament is to make laws and to question that which affects the ordinary citizens. They are elected to be the mouthpiece of the people of Zambia. They represent over 50,000. I'm talking about 50,000 as an average constituency in terms of population. So if an MP speaks, it represents over 50,000 people. Now, you talked about the debt restructuring and how it's going to help, or where the money is going. I think for purposes of information, we need to know why we started looking at restructuring the debt. We defaulted. When you default, you have no money. So for me, even the question of saying we channel funds to other sectors, which money are you going to channel to other sectors when you didn't have the actual money to pay the debtors? So it's really a fallacy for someone to say we are going to channel this money to other sectors, because for you to default, you don't have the money. So if the money was there,
the money, if we gave the miners tax holiday.
Well,
that is another source of income which we have donated to rich people already.
No, Pumulo, shift of policy. Shift of policy is what now brings me to the issue. As a democracy advocate, I'll say sometimes a change comes with its own disadvantages, because there's a lot of realigning of policies which to some extent do not show results there and then, either positive or negative. When I talk about results, I'm saying positive or negative. When prior to the elections, some of us that have followed these issues closely, prior to the elections, 2021, at about July before August, the dollar had gone to almost 23,000, 23 kwacha. 1 month before elections, the dollar went down, and we politicized the issue to say because it's election time, the PF have done the usual politics. Little did we know that it was around that time when mines used to pay mineral royalties. So a lot of dollars had come in, which cushioned the impact of the free-flowing kwacha at that time. Now, you remove mineral royalties. All my time I've been active in politics, I've not seen a mine that has declared profits. And when you remove royalties, you say we are going to be getting taxes. Which mine has declared profits that you're going to tax? So this is where now we are all facing this challenge of saying, where are we going to get the money? The area where we're supposed to get the huge chunk of the money, we are not getting anything at the moment, because you only tax profits. You tax, you get taxes from profits. And currently mines, always, whenever a mine owner is on a platform, they talk about, we are investing in this mine so much money. They only talk about putting in money. They've never said, okay, after investing for this period, we have made so much profit. They don't, or they declare a losses so that they evade taxes. So giving them tax holidays is actually shooting ourselves in the foot. I propose that the president just takes the bull by its horns, because again, I'll refer to the history that I have. It was during the current Minister of Finance, under Mwelwa, that we did away again with mineral royalties and went back to taxes. What is the interest of certain individuals in these mines? It brings back to the question, is someone behind the scenes benefiting by giving these mines tax holidays?
Yeah.
It's a vicious circle, my sister. It's a vicious circle. So as we speak debt restructuring, we went to restructure the debt because we defaulted. We didn't have the money. So which money are we going to channel to needy areas if we didn't have the money to repay? The extension is well and good, meaning the little money that is going to be accumulated now will be channeled to other sectors. But all in all, I remember very well some politicians said we inherited empty coffers. So empty coffers cannot channel any other money to any other sector. So we have like gone back 10 steps behind. We've operated in integers from 0 to 10, then from 10 to -5. We have even gone beyond 0 in terms of collection of taxes. Now, who is the victim now? It's you and me, the ordinary citizens, because you cannot evade tax if you're a civil servant. Because they'll just go to your payslip and get all the money that they need. That's why we've seen a number of companies right now. They are falling apart, especially Zambian companies, because the claim is there's so much that we pay to the government, meaning we are now milking, figuratively, we are milking a goat to feed the cow. That is the current situation. Doc.
Milking the goats to feed the cow.
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes,
Go
Doc.
ahead. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's very, very saddening. For example, because of the mining and letting the mines off the hook, what is our benefit from our own minerals if we cannot collect taxes from the mines, or if we cannot collect royalties from the mines? First of all, we have lost ownership of almost all the mines. You know, we don't have any shares that we have as Zambians in these mines. And then at the same time, we give tax holidays to these mining companies. What is our benefit? Again, the same mines have refused even to work through the rail system. They use our roads. The loans that we are paying now were incurred to build the roads, and the roads are being destroyed by the copper, the cobalt, and so on that is being carried on these roads. And eventually, we will remain with nothing. In the 20 years, or 25 years, or 50 years, when our children will be repaying these debts, they will also find holes and ditches, a lot of environmental degradation. And they will ask, what are these? And then we will say, no, these were mines. What were you mining from that? We were mining copper. What did you do with the money that you got from the copper? We built the roads. And where are the roads? The roads have been destroyed were destroyed by the trucks that were carrying copper. So what is it that we remain with? Nothing. We shall have nothing to show for the mineral resources that we have in our country today, because we have given away taxes and so on. So really, I want to agree with my brother, Mr. Mutale. We really need to rethink our policies in Zambia, especially with regards to mining. I have been to China. China has got a lot of minerals. They also have copper. They also have lithium. They have their minerals, but they are not mining their minerals now. But they are busy mining from other countries like Zambia to go and stockpile, not even to use, to stockpile for the future. When you ask them, why are you not mining your copper here? No, we are keeping it for the future. So everyone from around the world, they are in a hurry to extract all our minerals to a point where when that future comes, we'll have nothing to show, we'll have nothing to sell. And without any plan of diversification, what will happen in the future? There's an argument. Okay, we give tax holidays to the mines because the mines will employ our people. Do I agree with that argument? I say no, because mining in those days was able to create employment. But mining today does not create employment. Why? Because it's heavily mechanized. So instead of having so many people employed to work on the underground mine and so on, we have these huge machines that are mining, and so our people still don't have jobs. Our local contractors are not given contracts. So what is our benefit? That is the question that we need to ask ourselves. What is our benefit from the mining dues and taxes? Over to Madam Kamula.
You know,
before Madam comes in, Doc, I just want to chip in on the issue of losing ownership of the mines. I think, Doc, we need to rethink the so-called loss of ownership. We haven't lost ownership. We have neglected ourselves. Right now, we've heard about new discoveries of precious minerals. And some of these areas are not owned by anyone. Most of the people currently doing mining there actually just have prospecting licenses. It comes back to policy change. May the current government come up with a policy that will withdraw all the prospective licenses given to these individuals, especially in areas where precious minerals have been discovered, so that those now become new mines for the government, state-owned mines. Then let them find an equity partner who bring in equipment and give them 30% of ownership, or even 40%, depending on the value of the equipment they will bring. And government will have ownership of the new mines. The issue of saying we've given mines to the foreign investors or foreigners, I think for me does not arise. It's neither here nor there. We are just neglecting our resources deliberately. Who owns the Kasenseri mine? Who owns the gold in Munia Zulu's constituency? Who owns the gold in Mpika, where Kapianga is MP now? Who owns the sujirite in Mansa, the famous sujirite now? Who owns it? It's the government. It's the government. How does it own it? Most of those people have got prospective licenses. They are not even mining licenses. So it comes back to policy. That is why there is so much cry about the current minister of mines. The earlier, the better. The president should act and act for the Zambians. The current minister of mines, for lack of a better word, I was short of saying is useless, but it could be useful by the appointing authorities. But to the Zambians, I think it's useless, because even when he needs to make decisions, he doesn't make decisions. How many times have we heard songs about Bopani and KCM? Is it the cabinet as a whole which has failed to act? No. So, Doc, I feel we have not lost the mines. We have neglected the mines. The government can deliberately come up with policies that can bring back these mines to the Zambian people. How many engineers have we trained as a country, mining engineers, that we can fail to run our own mines? If we don't have the equipment, the only equity partner we need is that one who is going to finance the aspect of equipment, and we have a win-win situation. I think that's my take on that one. We haven't lost the mines. We have neglected the mines.
Yes. We actually, it's not neglected. We have allowed politicians to take advantage of the situation. I agree with you, Queen Cobra. Mining deal is a cash cow for politicians. Gilbert Rusaniso was given a mine by a Chinese from the streets. Gilbert Rusaniso was asked, how did you obtain a mine? No, a Chinese met me on the street. Do you know in other countries there will be a riot? But Zambian, we just laugh. Hey, Gilbert was given a mine by a Chinese in the street. We are not serious. Zambia, we need to hold these people accountable. They can't be living like kings and queens on our heads while our people eat crumbs. Ubuntu. We need to, all of us need to demand that the government make decisions in the interest of the Zambians. There is no way a mine can declare a loss. Copper is at the all-time high price on the London Metal Exchange. If they are declaring losses, that is a fraud. Because those same mining companies in America, they were taken to court for tax evasion. Mining companies, these same mining companies who are declaring losses in Africa, the US courts here, Superior Court, they fine them billions of dollars. So in Africa, they are declaring losses, but come to America, they are being fined for tax evasion. But our governments, they are helping these mining companies to commit tax evasion. It's actually a crime. That's why I'm saying to say, when Zambians we are ready, all these leaders will go to jail sooner or later. I'm telling you, they are committing crimes. There is no way there can be a loss in any copper mine here when it is the all-time high price. The world is going green. Yeah? New mines are coming in, it's a crime. You are taking new mines and putting them in the hands of few. Gilbert Liswaniso Twalumba mine. So we are here to say, Zambians, wake up. That's why we are talking. We are talking here so that Zambian, the whole world has woken up. And let's move on to the impact. I think in that discussion, we talked about the impact of the debt. And the impact is like, you know what? We have neglected. We are allowing politicians to run over us and transfer debt to the future. Because one thing which I've noticed, this is my opinion, is that this new Dawn government, all the debts they are transferring to 10 years. And the HH is looking to rule for 10 years. So whatever debt is there, whatever due is being cut, they are postponing it to 10 years. So in other words, HH does not want to take responsibility to paying these debts. Or the debt, all the deals is signing is 10 years plus.
And yet it was a promise that Barry will pay.
Yes, he will fix
remember.
it. Yes. Bali's promise, he will say he will fix it. But what Bali is doing now is making sure whatever deal is being signed, the liabilities will be due after 10 years when he's gone, or even 20 years. So he's banking on UPND to govern for 20 years. So that what is this? Grant corruption now is the next topic. Go ahead, Fabian. Yes.
As we speak grant corruption, I think I need to mention this quickly. I think Zambians were a danger to ourselves,
yes,
especially the youths. I'm saying we're a danger to ourselves because most of the time we talk politics. Even someone who does not understand what politics is, the first answer they will give you is politics is a dirty game. Who is making it dirty? It's ourselves. If we have realized politics is a dirty game, let's get into it and clean it. People don't want to come forward. That's why I pity our current president. Our current president right now has actually delisted his government. Look at the crop of ministers he has. The old guards from the MMD. The old guards from the MMD. There's no fresh ideas. There are no fresh ideas. I would like to see a situation where the new breed of politicians come to the fore. But even when we say, please, we need people to do politics. Say, no, me, I'm not a politician. But politicians drive this country. It is politicians who sit in parliament and make laws for you and me. So if we don't get involved, we'll start getting out useless laws made by people, a bunch of people that only look at their interests. Look at all the so-called constitutional review commissions we've had. What are the things they talk about? It is policies that benefit them politically. 50 plus 1, who does it benefit? Politicians. Most of the constitutional amendments we have seen benefit politicians. So we need new and fresh blood. I appeal to the current president. I appeal to the current, you are not short of members or even outside your ruling party. I know the law is very prohibitive in terms of nomination of nominating to the cabinet. But you need people that can help you rejuvenate the way politics or the way governance is. The old guards you have from MMD, I think they are doing you a disservice. And I'm saying this in relation to the headline we had, a burning headline we had in the Diggers today, where a minister can say, if you cannot afford meal, go and buy a meda and go to Chigayo. Is buying a meda a solution to the high cost of living? So the meda that this person you're advising to go and buy, they are going to use stones to get. Most of the Zambian families, there's no family in Zambia that has got father, mother, and 2 children. Most of them are above 6 members. How many meals can you prepare for a family of 6 in a meda, and for how long? So those are the kind of leaders that we need to prune, to win off from the political landscape. Can the current president, if he means well, which I am made to believe his preoccupation is to fix a lot of things, let him start fixing with his current cabinet. Let him start fixing it, because they're doing a disservice to him. Pumulo, you can pick it up.
Thank you, Fabian. But doctor, for me, there's a famous saying which they say, if it walks like a duck, it's a duck, right?
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
So 2 years now, right? If it walks
Mhm.
like a duck, it's a duck. If he's fixing stuff, we would have seen the signs of being fixed. I believe you talked about the appointments. Those appointments are his prerogative. He picks and chooses. So he has chosen to pick a crop of leaders who are there to bring back failed systems. Mama, before I sign over to you, Doc, I just want to say, to me, leadership must care for their people. I saw a video, I think all of us have seen a video of a young man in Dubai to say, an interviewer was asking a young man in Dubai to say, how did Dubai do it? And this young man, in a Emirati guy, he said, we have leaders who care. The Sultan of Dubai, they turned a desert into paradise. And the young guy was saying, we have nothing here in Dubai. We don't even have water. They have oil. But Africa, Zambia, we have everything. What we lack is leadership. And the goal of that emir in Dubai, when he took over power, he said he wanted to take every Emirati, whatever, out of poverty. And we find today, people like you and me are going to work in Dubai. Those people are on a salary because of their wealth. But now Zambia, we have everything. So, doctor, this corruption, I think, I don't know. We are doing this to ourselves, is all I can say. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much for the insights and the thoughts that are coming from both Mr. Mutale and yourself. I also want to agree with you. The problem that Zambia has, it's a leadership problem. And there are so many examples that we can give. If you see a company thriving, it's because it has a leader that is visionary and is able to drive that company to prosperity. If you see a nation thriving, it's because of leadership. But now we have leaders in our country that get so preoccupied with themselves and their own personal agendas that when they make decisions, they don't consult anyone. I thought that parliamentarians are elected by Zambians But when they make major decisions, they don't even hold consultative discussions to listen to the Zambians and know what is it that they want. It's not enough to just get a vote because I was voted. Therefore, everything that comes into my little brain must go. No, because this is not your country alone. We cannot all go and sit in parliament. We cannot all go and sit in, what can I say, in State House. It's only one person and perhaps 156 who are elected from the 56 constituencies. Now, when you are elected in those places, you need to understand that you are there in a representative capacity. You are there to represent the people of Zambia. Therefore, before you make certain decisions, you need to consult. You need to ask Zambians who are the owners, not you. You were just given a vote, elected to get into that place because you promised things. And so when you get there, it doesn't end there. You need to be consultative. There are so many Zambians who are intelligent, who can contribute to the, to the development of this country, but have been shunned. Some of them on political grounds, and anyone who says anything to the contrary is your enemy. It shouldn't be like that. I can't see my screen, myself on the screen. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Okay. Yeah, so I was saying that it is very, very important for us to understand that we are elected and therefore we represent the Zambians. It is not enough for us to just say, because we have been elected, we do what we want to do. No, consult. And the other thing that I want to say is that it's not every critical voice who is an opposition or who is your enemy. Because the way we take it in Zambian politics, if you just speak a divergent view, you are perceived to be an enemy. There are a lot of people that are not enemies of government or are not enemies to any leader who speak from good faith. They just have good intentions. They think about the good of this country. That is why they are saying what they are saying. They are not just saying these things to discredit you. They are not just saying these things to bring your government down. They are saying these things for the good of this country called Zambia. Because if we don't speak, things will just go in a wrong way. You know, even the Bible says that in the multitude of counsel, there is wisdom. So I want to appeal to my colleagues in government to be consultative, even consult the critical voices, those that have got opposing views. Sit down with them and try to listen to them. Over to Mr. Mutale, who disappeared for a while.
Doc, I did disappear. I went to look for a charger. My battery was dying. Now, Doc, look here. The critical voice in Zambia is what has actually killed most of these politicians. I remember one word from the previous regime. Whoever advised them against their wish, there was a term that they used to use, that and if that is what the UPND government is also going to take, they will go earlier than they came. Like you have rightly put it, there are people that will give counsel, free counsel, by way of writing, because they have no platform to interact with these ministers. They have no platform to talk about certain national matters. They will write. They will have platforms like this, which we would have provided. It is the responsibility of the powers that be to listen and assess, with this information, how best can it help? For instance, we are talking about debt restructuring today. How has the money that has been saved been used? Let them answer if they have got answers. My sister there spoke about the secrecy of these bilateral agreements vis-a-vis the non-disclosure clauses which are attached to these agreements? Let someone answer to this. Sometimes you need to critique yourself before others criticize. Governance has never been in perpetuity. That's one thing they should understand. Governance is never in perpetuity. There will be someone else that will come in. It could be within the same organization, but they will have a different dimension of running politics. So it is imperative that when you have an opportunity to lead, lead as you're supposed to lead. Not for personal gain, not because you want to appease only those that surround you. And when there's a critical voice, like some of us who are now calling ourselves democracy advocates, we are calling ourselves like this so that we bridge the gap of both the opposition and the ruling party with no political affiliation whatsoever, because we want to speak our mind. We want to speak that which those that cannot speak, we speak for them. And to borrow the late Michael Satter's words, ukulandila kumwewa kwa tulimba. You want to speak in the armpit. Who's going to listen to you? Go out there and speak publicly. Though this phenomena of only complaining in our households is called docility. It is time you and me and many well-meaning Zambians held not only the government accountable, but even the opposition. Like my sister put it there. What
Correct.
is the opposition MPs doing to provide checks and balances to the current government? Are we going to let all affairs of our nation to the politicians? Because politicians, they do what we call public stunts. Behind the scenes, they meet, laugh, have tea together. They go to places where they meet and they bargain for their personal businesses. We know these things. That's why you cannot bite a finger that feeds you. So to answer your question again, I'm bringing this back again. The current MPs, they have got their personal interests to protect. That's why they cannot hold the UPNG to account. They've got personal businesses. Some of them we know. Some of them we know. They're still jittery because the long arm of the law has not even touched them yet. So they're speculative to say, if I become critical, I might be visited. But we need people like Dr. Chalwe there. You need people like me who do not have to look behind to say who is seeing me as I speak. Who don't have to run to the bedroom when they hear a knock at the door to say it could be ACC or DEC. Those are the kinds of leaders we need at the moment. Those are the mouthpieces we need at the moment. But the current crop of politicians, immediately they hear a hooting car from their door, they run to their bedrooms because they've got skeletons. My sister, we're in trouble.
Yes, yes. It's actually very sad, you know. It's very sad. And this is all leadership. You know, we are talking about leadership. We want people who have empathy and sympathy. And we want people who make Zambia better for everyone, you know. Otherwise, you know, this whole thing, Zambia political scene is becoming a circus. We are a laughing stock internationally right now for having a puppet government at a time when the whole Africa is waking up to the idea of embracing our wealth and making our country a better place. We on the other side have turned back the clock to going back to serving a few businessmen on earth, to serving the elite at the expense of our own people, you know. Grand corruption is still going on. We have heard comments to say if there was corruption in the PF, it was a baby. The corruption that is happening now is the mother of all corruption. And for me, It is very hurtful because I feel deceived. I campaign for this government on their promises. They are going to fix it. And what is more hurtful is to see the youths who have nothing cheering these bad policies, bad decisions, deliberate impoverishment of citizens. We have young people, 20 years old, 21 years old, who have nothing. You are cheering somebody to build a helipad that is at his house when we have no medicine in the hospital. And the youth is cheering, yeah, let him enjoy. I say, I'm like, we have a problem. Because if the crop of these youths that were there in 1964, I'm telling you, even the so-called political independence, we won't be here celebrating. Right now, we are here to fight for economic, a revolutionary economic freedom. But we have youths who are cheering somebody building a helipad at his house. It is his time to enjoy. When we have no medicine, Panadol Tamuli, if you patala file Ebola, 2 years, public health care is a mess. The NAPSA deal where they want to take NAPSA money, pensioners, to build the road, we have sent a pokopa, for free. What kind of leaders do we have? You take Zambian pension money to build a road, free. Why can't you even ask for these mining companies to pay for the roads? And you are cheering, yeah, he's fixing it, give him time. Doc, the floor is yours. So me, I will never change my vibe. I will never change it. I'll always speak because these people need to know that Zambia is heading in the wrong direction. The least we can do is condemn what is wrong. There is no way to ingala lumbani madoda if ishilole motule lumba. No. You can go ahead.
Before Doc comes in, I just want to chip in on the issue of unnecessary praise singing. That is why, personally, I don't subscribe to the so-called solidarity. When any of the leaders, previous or current, is called before the law enforcers. Believe you me, whether those allegations are true or not, sometimes we need to tell these leaders to say, for now, you are on your own, because the allegations leveled against you do not in any way benefit me as an individual or the nation at large. Until such a time you are proven otherwise, that we can give you solidarity and say, no, we will welcome you back to society. Why am I saying this? It is not true that all politicians are criminals. And it is also not true that they are clean. But this issue of providing unnecessary solidarity, when we know, sometimes we even know, to say, these are the people we mingled with. Their lifestyle, just from counting the fingers, do not even match their wealth. But we go and cheer them. Even when you have money, that money should not be used only when a handful are giving you solidarity. The question the youth should ask themselves is, if those people really mean well for them, why don't they call them when there are no issues to say, Vane, he said in Mipere Commanded Kwacha. They wait until they're in Maningi trouble. That's when they round up you to give them solidarity. At the end of the day, they are given something. This useless way of abusing and being used is actually what is making politicians big-headed. It brings me back to what you even said earlier, to say, look here, we are championing wrong causes. Right now, we should not even be talking about a Mwelwa who or a Mwelwa who. Right now, what we need is to focus on the governance. What is UPND doing? Even when you say candidate B a Mwelwa or candidate C a Mwelwa, you should first weigh the options. Weigh the options. Is it true that we are short of leaders in Zambia? No. We are not short of leaders. It is this kind of mentality that has made leaders that already know how to pilfer to come back and continue pilfering. It's such kind of mentality. Can we have a paradigm shift in the way we do politics in Zambia? The youths, I'm calling upon you. Can we have a paradigm shift in the way we do politics? We should not just sing praises for either an opposition leader or ruling party leader who only finds it convenient for them to use you at any particular time. Remember, youths, no politician owes you a life. No politician. A politician's core is to make policies enabling, to make the enabling environment for you and me to either do business, for you and me to find opportunities that will enhance or enrich our lives, not that they owe you a life. They don't even owe you any dime. You are only as useful as the time that you spend with them. So that should click in your mind. Let's fight corruption. How do we fight corruption? There's grand corruption. How do you come in as a youth? If you are told to say, politician A has amassed this wealth within this period, rise up. Can we picket? If it's the Anti-Corruption Commission, let's picket them. If it's the DEC, let's picket them. We cried during the previous regime about the Public Order Act. Everyone has gone quiet. Everyone has gone quiet. Those are things that affect you and me on a daily basis. We cried about a number of things. For instance, right now, for you and me to form a company, right now, of course, there is a joke going around to say for you to have empowerment, form a cooperative. Cooperatives, yes, but to what extent? What level of business can you do, or what level of financing can you do using a cooperative? There should be another model for different sets of people. Not everyone can form cooperatives. Dr. Mwelwa, what cooperative are you going to form that gives you 15,000 kwacha for 15 people? When you divide that, it's 1,000 kwacha. So everyone is now going to be a marketeer to order tomatoes, because a box of tomato is what you can get from 1,000 kwacha, and a bag of umsalu, a medal of beans you put in front of your house. No. Youths, rise up.
Well. Yeah, very interesting contribution there from Mutale, and I agree with you. We need to change our mindset towards politics, especially for the young people. This is your country. Most of the people that are making decisions for you now will not be there the next 20 years that they are talking about.
Precisely.
They are not going to be there. So it is you and your children who are going to be paying this debt. It is you and your children who will have the impact of the mining activities taking place now. Because at the time when you will be an adult, all the sujirite will have been sold. All the manganese will have been extracted. All the copper will have been extracted. How are you going to survive, you and your children? And at that particular time, the value will be so much, because these are depleting assets, and year by year, the value is going up and it's going up. So at that time, it will be more value. If you don't stand up to protect what is yours, then you are all wrong. It's very sad that today, if you go on Facebook, you go on various social media platforms, you find that the young people are the ones in the forefront to defend politicians. And as they defend politicians, in most cases, they don't even know what they are talking about because they don't understand anything. All they do is that they just go there and insult. When you bring a tough topic,
They have become
they
useful
stop
idiots.
contributing. Yes, they can't contribute because they don't understand what they are talking about. And so to our young people, let's get interested in what's happening. Like my sister said, that the youth that we have today, if they are the ones who were there in 1964, we wouldn't have been independent because they would have bought them some
Facility.
to jiri and what have you, they drink and forget about everything. They would have been bribed by the white people, but the young people that time were so patriotic, they fought, they knew what they were fighting for. And that is our appeal. That is our appeal this evening to our young people. You have a fight to protect this country. You have a fight to protect your future, because all of us who are speaking to you today will not be there tomorrow, will not be there the next 10, 20, 30 years, will be gone. But it is you who is going to feel the impact of the decisions that we are making today. That is why you need to hold us accountable. I was excited in 2021 because it's you, the young people, that saw the need for change, and you walked out of your homes in large numbers to go and demand for change. Okay, I've heard this argument from people, no, but 2 years is just is too short for someone to fulfill all the promises. Some promises were time bound. But other than that, Mr. Mutale and my sister, if you get into a car and someone is driving it, you'll be able to tell in less than a kilometer that this driver knows how to drive or this driver doesn't know how to drive. It's easy to tell. And you say, you are not comfortable to be driven by a learner driver. That's the kind of a situation that we have. The team of our leaders needs to incorporate, bring in new people. I think one of the mistakes that was made when our friends came into office, they got rid of all the permanent secretaries and senior, government officials because they were perceived to belong to a particular political party. Those are permanent secretaries. The idea is that politicians can go, but the permanent secretary and the civil servants must remain to run government for purposes of continuity, for purposes of institutional memory.
Yeah.
Now you get rid of everyone and you bring in all the new people. So it will take them another 5 years to learn the job in order for them to start delivering. That was a mistake. And I think the area, it can be revisited. They can bring back some civil servants who actually wrote the blueprint which the new Dawn is using today. They can come back and try to help the government to do things in a better way. The UPND still has enough time. The next 2 to 3 years, they can improve and work on some changes. But if they don't, the young people will come back in 2021 and they will be able to deal with them mercilessly in the same way that they dealt with the PF government. I think we have done our 1 hour for today. I will hand over to
Yes, we can continue. We'll be
live.
Yes, so to wind down, I just want to say two things to say. You gave the example of getting into a vehicle. In this case, the Zambians have been hijacked because we were told we are going north, but then we are going south. The driver we have knows how to drive, but he's taking us to a wrong destination. So would you stay in a vehicle now? Hijack. Ukoko Tureya is not where I want to go. Why are people staying in that vehicle that is heading in the wrong direction? That's the point number one in closing. And point number two, the youths are mainly the issue here, because the youths don't follow the purpose, follow the cause, follow the mission. Do not follow a person. If you follow a person and that person has selfish ambition and you are going to be there because of loyalty, This is politics. We are looking at people's lives. Let us not mix loyalty in politics. You are loyal to governance matters. You are not loyal to politician A or B, because politician A or B may receive the briefcase of money and his priorities will change. His priorities will be to please the person who has given him that briefcase, or who is paying his son's fees at the most expensive school. So, Apa, we are just begging our youth to open your minds. Do not be split because of Mutundu, Tamwakadio Mutundu, Tamwakadio Mutundu. The person you are supporting because it's your tribe's mate or region mate will not feed your family. Even if it feeds you, your extended family is suffering. So we are just here to talk about leadership and educate the young people so that as they assume leadership roles in future, they do not become like this current crop of leaders. God forbid. God forbid if Zambia, these youths become like these leaders we have had in the last 30 years and all in these political parties, God forbid. That's why I'm here day and night, educating our youth to make them better people. Some of them are stubborn, but we'll continue hammering, we won't give up. They are stubborn, but they are going to see it. They are going to see what we are saying eventually. Mutale, you can close, and Doc, you can close. I end here.
In closing, I'll be very brief, my sister. As we come back and tackle the other issues that border on agriculture and everything that comes with it, especially that this is the farming season for the 2023-2024 farming season, I'm urging the youths. In fact, I'm not urging them. It's a reminder. Take stock of your MP, your current MP, before they became MP 2 years ago. Because most of the current MPs, especially in the ruling party, are new, and some in the opposition. Their current social status compared to yourself, are they the same? If the answer is no, wake up. Why am I saying this? All politicians have got their nuclear family who they look after before they look after you. So you have a responsibility to hold them accountable on behalf of yourself, because their own family cannot hold them accountable. Thank you, my sister.
Doc, in closing.
Well, thank you very much. All those who are following, and go back as you go to bed tonight, think about the things we have discussed, and know that this is your country. If you don't do anything about it, no one will do anything. So let's keep talking. Let's keep our eyes open to see where our leaders are driving us to. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Wonderful evening, great contributions. We are here, we'll be talking. I think if Monday is a good day, we'll continue every Monday. Otherwise, we'll liaise with the doctor and Mutale to determine which is the best day. But we'll be here weekly because there are many things to talk about. Today, our main focus was debt restructuring. And of course, everything is tied to debt restructuring because, you know, we have so many challenges as a country, really. The challenges we are faced are enormous. And
on that one, I've got a proposal. We can, in the interest of time, why don't we have like a weekly review? We start the week, and then at the end of the week, again, we have another program. The reason I'm proposing this is that we've got a lot of issues, governance issues that I feel if we are going to be holding a weekly programs, by the time we reach 2022, I mean 2026, we would have not touched a lot of issues. Sometimes you can actually throw it to the people before we meet, so that they suggest what we need to discuss. Otherwise, there's a lot. I wish we had more time. I mean, we'll have more time next time, not 1 hour, because the 5 items bordering on agriculture, physics, and a lot of other things, when you look at the list that we had prepared earlier, it's quite a handful. We need time to tackle that one.
All right. So we'll decide, we'll discuss behind the scenes on
Yes.
when we can come on, but we'll be here. We want you to join us because our youth needs to be guided. Like right now, I think our youth are being manipulated. Our youth are being manipulated by our current political systems and politicians. So we need to kill that. We need to educate our youth so they separate themselves from emotional and loyalty issues to these leaders. They need to separate their emotions and loyalties. Tribes, Métis, whatever. At the end of it all, you are buying Ugunga 300 kwacha. Really? They are not, people are suffering. We have street issues, yengi. Street kids, it's like my head wants to explode.
You can buy a Meda and Gaisha, please. Stop talking about it.
In a country where we are top 10 producer of the most expensive minerals in the world, these people, they want to send our youths back in the caves. Wild fruits, while they eat filet mignon and pop champagne every day. Is that ridiculous? Isn't that ridiculous? Like, how can a leader speak like that? And you have youths cheering, yay!
And we also had the Kandoro era. It's all political.
It's gotta go. That's why we are saying the youths need people to educate them. And that's why I am happy we are starting this. Youth need to disconnect themselves from emotional and loyalty feelings to these politicians who are using them for their vote.
And just on that one, before you close, I think the Zambian youth should be exposed to some of the youths in Chiengi constituents, youths that have been productive because of good leadership there. I think we'll bring one of the youths from Chiengi so that the Zambian youth can learn something from how a leader who means well for the people or for the youths treats them and how they respect them.
Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So I think the more people come in and talk, these kids, we are going to empower their brains. We need an economic revolution through mindset change. That's what is going to change Zambia. Lumbani Madoda will not, 30-year-olds here, they are buying mansions. It's a prime age. At 30 years, it's a prime age for you to be economically free and do economically big things. In a country like Zambia, a 30-year-old should be their most progressive time in their lifetime. But we have 30-year-olds living with their parents in Zambia. And he told we need to educate.
Thank you. We need to go.
Yes, we need to go. So we see you next week. Maybe Monday we'll announce the new program. Good night. Thank you, my doctor. Thank you, Mutale. Let me just end the show.
Thank you.